Hi, Christine.
Hello, Julia.
So welcome, a warm welcome to Quick and Dirty Trip Tips for Improving Your English. And today I would like to speak about understanding foreign accents. English is spoken all over the world by all kinds of people, and it is the language for conducting business. And as a result, we've got people speaking with different dialects, different accents, different vocabulary, fast, slow. We've got the entire range of issues to deal with. And this is something that my clients often struggle with. They say to me, I've got this Indian guy and I struggle to understand him. Do you have any tips, Christine?
That's a tricky one, Julia. Thank you. What I realized is that we're used to, or we're better understanding familiar voices, aren't we? Familiar
Yes.
vocabulary, familiar accents. I was just thinking of a story. I'd like to tell you a little story of when I was younger. We watched a lot of films, and most of these films in England were American films, and I had absolutely no problem understanding these films, right? And then many years later, or looking now, when I watch American films now, Julia, I don't know about you, but I sometimes find them rather difficult to understand. And they're talking English.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. I mean, I also I also watch a lot of movies, actually dubbed movies, dubbed in German, because my husband struggles to understand the Americans.
I have the same issue here, right?
Exactly. And after a long, hard day, he says, oh, the last thing I feel like doing is concentrating on understanding
I know.
The English. And I also feel that when I do then watch a movie in the original, with the original soundtrack, I also struggle to understand it. But I think then it definitely has something to do with exposure, doesn't it, Christine?
That's it. I think it is exactly as you say, Julia. It's exposure. We're not familiar with this. We haven't, you've really got to get used to these accents.
Yeah.
And you've got to listen more, take a lot of time, or take more time to listen to different accents.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I tell my clients. I say to them, right, if you know that you have a meeting with Americans the next day, watch a movie in American English the night before. Expose yourself to it as much as possible, because after a while it will become easier. Hang in there.
Hang in. I think it's just like speaking. We say, if you want to improve your speaking, you've got to speak. You've got to go out and speak. And it's the same with understanding different accents. You've got to listen to people speaking, to different accents, different people speaking, to get used to the sound, right?
Right.
And today we have YouTube. We've got the internet. It's wonderful.
Definitely.
Couldn't do this before, right?
Absolutely. I think you can find lots of videos with Indian English as well, if you just Google it and look for them. So
but quite honestly, Julia, I remember some of our first holidays with the children. We went to Bavaria, right? And I thought my German was good. And then suddenly in Bavaria, I didn't understand the people. And that really frustrated me. And they were talking German.
Of course, I still struggle to understand the Bavarians, but I also, even though I'm a native English speaker, I also struggle to understand the Scots.
Oh, I was going to say that. Exactly what I was going to say.
If they sort of just go on about something in their own sort of, slang jargon, speaking to their buddies, find it very difficult to follow what they're saying.
But Julia, it's not only the, sort of Germans not understanding the Indian people or, actually the Germans often don't understand the native speakers of English.
Of course, definitely. That's what I heard it actually this week. A client said to me, I prefer doing business with Italians, French, with non-native speakers.
Right. That's the case. That's really
because they speak slower and clearer and they use simpler vocabulary. But Christine, do you have any tips for say somebody who has not had the opportunity to expose themselves to a certain accent, and suddenly that person is in a meeting with someone they can't understand. What kind of strategies can you use there?
I think if you're in a meeting, you can't understand a person, you can ask this person to slow down, to speak much slower, maybe also to write important facts down. I find that can help as well. Yeah. You know, if someone is talking about figures and you haven't followed, you can't follow, then ask to have, to write that down.
Yes.
That would basically be, I think you just have to ask someone to slow down.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to do it. And two other things that I always mention is that focus on what you do understand and not on what you don't understand. Because I think if you start focusing on what you don't understand, then you're sort of, you've got your Kopfkino going, and
that's a nice word for our listeners.
Yes, absolutely, very nice word. And you think to yourself, oh, I didn't understand that. What was that word? And then you miss even more of what the person is saying. So really focus on what you do understand. I think that's an important tip, definitely. And another strategy that I can think of is take somebody into the meeting with you, because between the two of you, you will understand more,
right,
than just on your own.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Great. Thank you, Julia.
Yes. I'd like to mention just one more thing, Christine, and that is that I think what I always say to my clients, it's not just an issue that affects non-native speakers. As we said, I think it affects everybody globally.
We all have
we're
this
not
problem.
always able to understand everybody 100%, 100% of the time.
Right. And I think that just helps others when I say to my learners, I have problems understanding someone from Scotland or an American person as well.
Precisely.
Right. So
precisely. Totally. We're all affected by it. Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you.
Lovely speaking to you, and we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week. I look forward to speaking to you. Bye for now.
Bye.